Scent Podcast.
Hey everybody, it's Matthew, and I'm back with another Scent Spotlight right here on the Scent Podcast. I'm really excited to share my conversation with the creator known as Paola, who is probably best known for her vector illustrations on top of images and pictures that she shares on Scent. Paola and I talked about her creative journey, the inspiration of receiving her first Barbies and fashion magazines as a child, all the way to meeting fellow sentient Jaleel Dowdy and his influence on her in terms of bringing her into the crypto art fold. We talk about her pixel creations, what it's like to be a new creator in crypto, pricing your work, deciding where to actually sell it. A lot of really good stuff in here. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy my conversation with Paola. Okay, we're live. This is Matthew, and I'm coming back with another Scent Spotlight. This week, my guest is the digital artist, Paola. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's my pleasure. And to get started, I think it would be nice if you could introduce yourself a little bit to the Scent Podcast audience and tell everybody who is the artist known as Paola.
Sure. Well, I was raised in a Dominican family, so I am Dominican. I was born and raised in Washington Heights in Manhattan. And then from there, my mother decided to move to Staten Island. It's a very small island surrounded by water, in which you have to take a small ferry to go to the city. So if you want to go to Manhattan, you have to take the ferry. And I was living there for like 22 years. So my journey into art, I would say, was when I received my first Barbie doll. And then from there on, my mom would like constantly get me Barbie dolls. And then what I would do with the dolls, I would like create new outfits, and I was really into that. And then I was like, then when I went to, I believe, middle school or high school, I was like more into art. I would love to look at fashion magazines or art books. And it would open my eyes more to like what is art. Is not just about like fashion. There's like so much to it. And then what's your next question? I'm so sorry.
No, it's cool. So I think you were starting to take me on your creative journey, which started with Barbies. I'm just wondering if you could trace the steps from getting those Barbies until where you're at today. I think that would be pretty cool.
Okay, so so when I would collect Barbies, I was like so into it that it became another thing that I wanted to do was like learn how to paint. And when I tried that, it didn't work out for me because I would say it didn't work out for me because I was very impatient, because sometimes you just want your hands to start, making a beautiful portrait or something that catches your eye, but when you first try it, sometimes it's not going to look right to you until you finish it. So most of the time, I would stop and not finish the portrait or the canvas, I should say, and then I gave up on that. And then just recently, it was like last year, I started digital art. And I was introduced by Jaleel Dowdy. He was the one that showed me about the digital art. I didn't have no background on it, but I would look a lot into like a lot of books, like Picasso art books or Matisse or Keith Haring. I really like their style of art. And there's more out there that I really, really like, but those are the ones that really catch my eye. And so those are, he was the one, Jaleel Dowdy was the one that introduced me to it. And then back then I'd probably say when I was in college, I was taking it was like a computer art class, like an introduction to art class. And I remember in that class we had to do a lot of like abstract art, and it was kind of difficult for me because To learn about abstract art, it's like more in depth. Um, like the lines, like what does it mean? What type of everything has its like a name, and like when do you have to use it and stuff like that. Um, and that class I honestly didn't do as great because I didn't have the program because what I used to create my art, I used Adobe Illustrator to create my art pieces. I'm trying new things, new other programs to use for my art, but for right now, I'm just doing Adobe Illustrator.
Actually, like listening to your creative journey, how you got to where you are today. But when you mentioned the Barbie part, I mean, I've been looking through your work for many months now and just thinking through like, how do I feel when I'm looking at it? What does it remind me of? And as soon as you mentioned the Barbie part, I know that like they're sort of miles away. Like one is like a physical doll. Your work is digital on the screen, but the moments that you're capturing and almost freezing in these images reminds me of like something like Barbie's that molded. I'm not sure if it's something intentional or if I'm just now like seeing that based on your explanation. But then I was going to ask you or bring up this point. You mentioned that Jaleel Dowdy kind of introduced you to digital art. Like when I actually looked at a lot of your illustrations, to me, they're super iconic, or at least they are capturing these like highly familiar expressions in like this modern urban professional life that a lot of us are taking part in. And it reminds me of a lot of Dowdy's work, just far less stylized. And it's closer to real life. So it's awesome actually to hear the background like that. So you mentioned that Dowdy introduced you to digital art. My next question was going to be, how did you arrive at the current style that you're practicing in your work? I don't want to say like it's a Barbie style anymore, but it's a very illustrative style, highly emotive. It's deeply eye-catching. Your work pulls the viewer in. So I'm just curious, how did you arrive at your particular style of capturing these real life moments and then adding these like vectored illustrations on top of them?
Well, honestly, what I like to do is I like to check out like social media and based on like what other people post, whatever catches my eye, I like to create an art piece on them. And I don't know if you can see, but on my Instagram page, I have I always tag them in, and they're shocked by like like someone actually did an art piece on me because like I said, everyone has their own. I mean, I never said it, but everyone has their own style when it comes to creating something. But I feel like some people, like, they can't afford to go buy an art book or maybe a book full of photos or like a fashion magazine. So there's like a lot of free resources out there. You can use social media. I use Pinterest, Instagram, and like I just like to explore on the web and find what catches my eye, and then I just create after that.
That's super cool. I had no idea that was your approach. And then how did you actually come across crypto? Was that also thanks to Dowdy, or had you arrived into crypto and crypto art by yourself?
No, that was actually Jaleel Dowdy. He actually showed me all that because I didn't have an idea or like a background on it. And then after he explained it to me, because me and him, we used to work together and together at a retail store.
Mm.
So that's how I got to know him. And yeah, he opened my eyes to crypto art and what is crypto. And I really appreciate it.
It'd be interesting to hear in your words. I mean, since Dowdy was the one that kind of explained it to you, someone that is non-crypto before coming into crypto art, like, how do you think about it? What was the toughest part for you to kind of understand to start posting your work to platforms like Known Origin, for example?
Well, I can say it took me a while to understand it. It wasn't like I understood it in a snap of a finger. But after he explained it to me with so much details, because with me, I'm a person that I have, that a person has to speak to me with a lot of details so I can understand, or I'm a visual learner. Because if you're just telling me, I'm not going to understand. So he explained it to me, and then I understand like how it works, and it's actually a cool, very very cool thing that they did.
Mm-hmm. And then you are on Known Origin. You're on Rarible. I think you have your own marketplace on OpenSea too. Like,
Yes.
how do you think about these different crypto art and NFT platforms in terms of listing your work, pricing, and all of that really interesting stuff that is now available to any digital artist out there?
Well, sometimes, to be honest, it's kind of hard to pick where I want to put my piece at to sell, because it's like, I would like everyone to see it. Just like if someone posts their art, I want to see their art. And about the prices, I just go by. I try to make it affordable, because I know it's like some people can't, pay 1,000 or more than $1,000 for a piece of art. So I try to make it at affordable and just take it as, the art was a piece of me, so now it's going to a good home, or I should say to someone's digital, I don't know the proper name for it, but like their art storage, I guess. And they'll keep it there, and then, it's like, I don't know, like I get excited when someone likes my art, because then I know that there's someone out there that likes the way I create, and I don't how to do things, I guess.
Mm-hmm. I'm not a digital artist. I do like to collect. And there's a couple layers, I guess, of where collectors can keep their work, right? So one is in the digital wallet. So like for me, I use my mobile phone for everything. I like to use Trust Wallet because I can go inside of there and I can like look at the pieces that I collect. But you can also like literally create a virtual gallery where you can hang all of this digital art. So like I scooped one of your pieces today, actually. I was looking through
Wow.
everything, and on Known Origin, I picked up Thinking, your one of one piece. And the next thing I'm going to do right before I go to bed is I'm going to go into CryptoVoxels and go to my like art stadium and find the right place to post that.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's a weird thing, I guess. I don't know, but I just feel like it looks so cool in this virtual context, like this digital work in a digital world that people can go through and scope out, even when I'm not there. I think that's awesome.
That is very cool.
Yeah. But the other thing I want to flag real quick too, because I saw on your OpenSea marketplace that you're selling some of your work using the social currency Hue. And for folks listening who aren't sure, like, what the hell is Hue? Connie Digital is probably one of the most powerful forces in crypto art. He's brought countless number of folks into this world. He kind of attracted me to it way back early in the early part of 2019. But you're using his social currency to price some of your work. I'm curious, how did that come about? And well, have you linked up with Connie Digital? Have you done any collaborations? Are you doing anything beyond using the social currency to price your work?
No, I'm actually not. I haven't collaborated with Connie Digital. And the reason why I picked Hugh was because I feel like I like to support other artists, especially the fact that he created his own like currency, I would say. So I felt like maybe, let me just give this a try, because like I said, I would like to just I don't know, I just wanted to do it.
That's cool. I'm not sure if you've actually done any collaborations, but I'm curious, like, are there any collaborations that you have in the pipeline? When are you and Dowdy going to collaborate on something?
I mean, we did do a collaboration before. Maybe we'll do one eventually, I don't know, soon or something. But we did collaborate on a piece.
Which one?
I believe it was called peaches or something like that. Yeah, it's like a lot of art to remember. Like proper.
Yeah, you're prolific, and your work is kind of like it's sort of all over on the different platforms. A lot of it's on Scent, but a lot of it is definitely hidden. It may be collected, or maybe it was on Dowdy's page as well.
Yes.
That's the tricky part. Okay, and then well, in terms of your next steps on the creative journey, like what do you want to do heading forward?
Well, honestly, I would like to learn more, like more techniques. Yesterday, I got introduced to pixel art, and I was shocked because it's not easy as you think it is. Because I always felt like, oh, it's not that bad, you know. But when I tried it, I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna give up, but I'm just gonna keep practicing to make it better.
Was that you that shared that PixelChain work of the clenched, powerful black fist? Was that you?
Yes,
Did you make that?
yes, I did.
Dude, that's so dope. Like, I think that looks really cool. That was your first attempt at using PixelChain to make some pixel art.
Yes.
Oh man, like I'm so jealous of people that are so talented like that. It's like in my mind, I'm like thinking like maybe that's something I could potentially do, but then I just see someone just
Oh
make
yeah,
a perfect fist.
definitely. Definitely. I feel like art has its imperfections, and I feel like you should never give up. Even if you don't see it there, just don't finish. Just keep on doing what you're doing, and eventually you'll reach the end point. And then once you reach the end point, it's everything is perfect, you know?
Well, it definitely seems like pixel art it's having an early moment, at least. Like Pixel Chain is something that just kind of was released. It's a little side project of Crypto Motors, but I've seen a bunch of folks kind of dive in there and make some amazing work, you yourself included. WG Meets was there, a lot of money. Many folks are really pumping up a pretty high amount of high quality work using the simple pixels. I'm curious, like from your perspective as an artist, like why do you think we're seeing a lot of artists that are known for doing other types of art? Why is the pixel art kind of piquing their interest? And on the other side, like the demand side, like why do you think folks are paying for this art now?
I guess because maybe in a couple of years or something, maybe pixel art, they don't want to make it like extinct because, you know, in modern art, it's not really pixelated. Everything's just, you know, regular, I would say. So a lot of people I feel like that are into gaming, like, you know, playing Super Mario and things like that. All the games back then were pixelated, and people like that type of art, I would say that style. So they just don't want it to extinct. Like if someone doesn't continue to make that type of design.
Mm. Yeah, I can vibe with that idea. I think a lot of the people that are I'm not you include. I think you may be much younger, but I know a bunch of the other folks who are making a lot of the work. Well, they're even directly referencing like Super Nintendo or regular like throwback Nintendo 8-bit images that they used to see. So I think nostalgia is playing a huge role for sure.
Yes.
Cool. Before we go, I know, like we mentioned throughout the show, you have a ton of places where you're selling art. You're on Instagram. If you want to shout out some of your handles so that folks listening can go give you a follow on Instagram, Twitter, and wherever you want them to follow you, I think that'd be cool.
Sure. So my Instagram name is Les Door. So it's LES. And then I don't know what's it's not, yeah, underscore. Thank you. And then it's DORE.
Yeah. Where does that name actually come from?
Well, honestly, I was just researching. I've always been into like French, like the language. So I was just researching, and I'm like, I need a cool name for my page. And then I was just typing things, and then it came out to be the gold. So then that's called Les Door. So I was like, okay, I guess I'll stick to that.
That's pretty dope. And then your Twitter handle is the same as your Instagram, no?
Yes.
Cool. And then, yeah, since you're Paola, and I guess known origin, you can find you're listed as Paola as well. Yeah, like from known origin, that's how I found everything else. It was easier that way. Paola, it was a pleasure to speak with you again, and well,
Okay.
just take it easy and keep creating.
Thank you, and have a great day.
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.
Hey everybody, it's Matthew again, and I hope you enjoyed my conversation with Paola as much as I did recording it. As always, if you aren't subscribed to this podcast, make sure you subscribe wherever you listen. And if you enjoyed this episode, please recommend it to anyone whom you think would enjoy these sorts of creator spotlights. The next spotlight that will be coming out will feature Mehik Jain, and a future spotlight is in the works with Richard F. Yates. Later this week, I'll be dropping the conversation that Rizzle and I had with DeFi Dad, where we looked back at the Ethereal Summit virtual event, as well as at all virtual events taking place these days, including the weekly whip and the future of blockchain-based VR projects like CryptoVoxels. It's a really awesome conversation. Look out for that. And speaking of the whip, make sure you hit up the whip this week in CryptoVoxels. It takes place every Thursday, 12 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. UTC. The speaker list this week is stacked. We have Ben Nolan himself, who will be taking to the virtual stage, followed by Cameron of Scent and Sparrow, and then finally Skeeny will present and then take the crowd over to his special CryptoVoxel build, where he will give a world premiere exclusive async art promo. So it'll be exciting. Make sure you stop through, look out for the tweets and post on Scent, and Scent on.
Scent Podcast. Scent Podcast. Scent Podcast. Scent Podcast.